So this is what, if you want to do a like for like comparison, I don't think you'll be able to do. Compare the Quran and compare the Bible. The Bible has no authentic sources. The early sources have all disappeared. Yes? They have no manuscript from the first century, zero manuscripts. How do you bridge the gap from the first century, from the time Jesus preached these words, words of his, to the earliest extant manuscript, which I think date to the late second centuries or something like that. More than 100 years after Jesus, more than 150 years after Jesus. And that too are fragments. Majority of their major texts, manuscripts that they found is in the 3rd and 4th century. 300 to 400 years after Jesus. Can you imagine this? And then they say these are the words of Jesus. How will you bridge the gap? You don't have anything even close to the authentic hadith, the Sahih hadith. Forget even the authentic hadith. You don't have anything close to the weak hadith, the da'if hadith, where even they have the sanad, they have the chain of narration. So who narrated from Jesus? Who are the intermittent people who brought the message to Mark, Matthew, Luke and John later on? Or whoever wrote those Bibles in the name of Mark, Matthew, Luke and John? Who brought the message to them? Where is this link? Where is this? How do you fill this big gap between them? More than 100 years of gap. I mean, a lot can change in 40, 50 years, let alone 100 years. So you see, at least in the Quran, with regards to the Quran and with regards to the Hadith, we have both the oral and the written tradition from the very early years, from nearly the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or even during his time and later on. With regards to the Quran, with regards to the Hadith, we have these things. We have the chain of narrations. If not, even the Bukhari and Muslim might have come 200 years after. The important thing is that they can link what Hadith this is all the way to Prophet Muhammad through the chain of narration, unlike the Bible. So you see that Bible is not even close in the comparison to the weak hadith, the weak narrations from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which has a sanad at least. So we know from the ilm al-rijal, we know each entity, each person within the chain of narration, about their biography, about their history, what kind of person they were, whether they were old when they wrote this, whether they were young, whether the memory had lapsed when they reached a certain age, and because of that they had discounted that hadith as being a weak or as being something like that. We don't have this science of hadith or the science of Quran, the ulum al-hadith, the ulum al-Quran with regards to the Bible. So